Yo, what is going on, you guys? This is GamingWithSal and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I wanted to go ahead and discuss about the Operation Absolute Zero trailer that we just received today, and it basically revealed almost everything that we've been looking forward to for this upcoming Tuesday. It showed off some gameplay of our new specialist Zero and what her abilities are, as well as what are some of the weapon variants and new weapons and how they're going to look like and play like, and they also went ahead and showcased some gameplay of Hijacked from Blackout and even teased of how the entire Blackout map is going to look a little bit more different than usual, and just so much more. So sit back and relax and allow me to break down all of this for you guys within today's video. Now let's go ahead and talk about our new specialist first, Zero. Her specialist issue equipment is going to be called the Disruptor, and as suspected, it will indeed act like an EMP grenade from past Call of Duty titles. Here in this gameplay, you can go ahead and see Zero throwing her EMP grenade towards Torque's barricade and a sentry turret, and right on the impact, it'll disable both of these equipment, which means the Disruptor will be able to go up against score streaks as well as specialist and regular equipment. However, I don't know if throwing this EMP grenade will affect the specialists themselves in terms of their abilities or equipment temporarily disabling, and if that's the case, it seems like this will be a little too overpowered, but at the same time, this could be part of her main specialist ability, which we'll go ahead and talk about in just a second. But from what I'm seeing here in this trailer, I think that her EMP grenade is only designed to attack score streak or the other team's specialist equipment only, and even then, it doesn't seem like it'll destroy them, but instead just disable them for a certain period of time before they're back up and active again. So moving forward, let's go ahead and now talk about her main specialist ability, and for this, she will have another equipment rather than a weapon, sort of like how Crash does, and this main ability is going to be called the Icepick. And as you can see here, this equipment doesn't just hack or take over the other team's equipment, but it also takes out their score streaks, and it even seems like this will affect the other team's specialists themselves. Maybe it'll disable their abilities or equipment for a certain amount of time. That's why I felt like the EMP grenade wasn't going to be able to do this, because imagine if the equipment and the main specialist ability both can disable the enemy team's abilities and specialist equipment. That would possibly get a little too annoying, but the way I feel like that the specialist ability is going to work is that the player would need to absolutely stay still in order to use this ability to its full potential. Because if we go ahead and take a look at the screenshot here, you can see that the Disruptor has a much better range than the Icepick does. But why would the Icepick need to be in a certain range that's much worse than that of the EMP grenades? That's probably because the player would be required to stay still in order for this ability to work, which limits the equipment's range by a lot, assuming that you need to be near the equipment or score streak that you're trying to hack. Not to mention, even in the trailer, the player had to go find a hiding spot in order to use the Icepick, and honestly, taking a look at the main specialist ability once again, it seemed like that it was even designed to where it would force the player to have to stay still, because just look at the size of this thing. It pretty much covers the entire screen, so regardless, you would have to stay still or hidden because you just won't be able to actually see anything when using it. And I think that's a pretty good move on Treyarch's part when they were designing Zero, because this sort of balances out her in comparison to maybe the other specialists and their abilities as well. But based off of this idea alone, and assuming that this theory is correct, what happens if the player decides to move while the Icepick is being used? Well, once again, if you go ahead and take a look at the gameplay of the Icepick, it seems like that it takes a couple of seconds to be able to hack an enemy equipment, and then maybe a couple of more seconds to destroy an enemy score streak, and then maybe even a couple of more seconds to possibly hack or affect the enemy specialist abilities and equipment, which means this equipment will probably take a total of maybe 6 to 8 seconds to completely use everything that the specialist ability has to offer, and that if you move in between any of this time, whatever didn't hack all the way would be cancelled out. For example, suppose you hack an enemy trophy system and then you're about to destroy an enemy helicopter, but you accidentally started to walk, or maybe another enemy came out of nowhere and basically took you out. At that point, you did successfully hack the equipment, but failed to hack the score streak and specialist on the enemy team, and need to wait for your ability to recharge all over again if you want to go ahead and hack all three categories one more time. But that's just the way that I think that the Icepick specialist ability is going to work based on what I'm seeing and what would make sense in terms of balancing issues. But moving away from Zero for just a second, I want to go ahead and briefly go over everything else that was covered in this trailer, but not really talk too much about it, because of course the trailer is pretty self-explanatory from this point on. As you guys can see, when it comes to Blackout, each player will now have a smoke trail attached to their legs so that other players can more easily tell where their opponents will be landing, and that way they'll have a better chance to prepare themselves for wherever it is that they decided to drop. On top of that, all of the trees within the Blackout map will now have a more autumn look to them, with a more red, orange, and yellow leaves attached to these trees, which gives almost an entire different look, and I'm actually really digging this. And of course, the most obvious part is that we now have our first official look at Hijacked from Black Ops 2, which will also be the first expanded map to be added to the Blackout mode. The gameplay itself looks awesome, and it really doesn't look like that it's that different from Hijacked that we all knew and loved from all of those years ago. Next up, we also got a really close look at the Damon 3XB SMG and the SWAT RFT assault rifle and what those weapons are going to play like as well. So far, the SMG seems like it has a really fast fire rate, sort of like the Spitfire does, and then the SWAT just seems like it's going to be something very close to that of an ICR again, or sort of be like Black Ops 4's M4A1, seeing how the range isn't really too hot on this weapon. And lastly, we also have our first look at some of the new weapon variants, reactive camos, regular camos, as well as some outfits for our specialists, which, by the way, can I just go ahead and say that look miles ahead in comparison to the outfits that we got for Operation First Strike. Like, the outfits actually look different from one another, which is something that I'm really liking and is very good for the game. And one more point, can we all agree how amusing this weapon variant looks right here? The weapon itself is literally an airplane, and I don't know why, but I'm really liking that a lot. Like, imagine when inspecting this weapon, the player will start waving the weapon around as if it's like a toy airplane. Like, I don't know how much more amusing you could get than that. But overall, tomorrow is shaping up to be a huge day for Black Ops 4, and I really can't wait to get my hands on all of the goodies that are going to be coming with tomorrow's update and bring all these different videos to you guys talking about so many different things that are going to be coming to the game. But with that said, that's pretty much all I have for you guys in today's video. So let me know in the comment section of what you all are thinking about all of this. And as always, if you enjoyed watching this, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, click the bell icon so you'll never miss an upload, and follow me on my social media accounts to stay connected. Links will always be in the description below, and I will go ahead and talk to you guys in the next video. So take care of yourselves, and bye.